Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to use stippling to create the shading for your self-portrait. As you can see, I've already finished doing all the outlines. I have my hair, my head, my nose, eyes, eyebrows, mouth, hand. Just the important outlines of my main details all ready to go. So I have here an example of a gradient. This is stippling. When you stipple, you are using tiny dots to create the illusion of going from light to dark. As you can see on this one, this is the lightest one. I only have a few random dots spaced out. Once it gets a little bit darker, a few more dots are in this box. Even more dots, and the most dots. The key to stippling is that the darker you want something to be, you need a lot of dots that are densely packed together. So when I'm ready to start doing this to my self-portrait, it's important to use a felt-tipped pen. So this here that I'm holding is a felt-tip pen, and the main difference between this and a ballpoint pen is that the very tip of it has a tiny little felt tip, not a metal ball tip. Another great thing to use is an ultra fine point Sharpie, and this also has a felt tip on the end. Alright, when you start your stippling process, I'm going to have you guys start with the darkest part of your self-portrait first. When I look at the darkest parts of my self-portrait, I'm looking at the frame of my glasses, which is completely black. I'm looking at the nostrils, that line that goes between my lips, and some of these spaces in my hair. These would be the darkest place on my self-portrait. So when I start to stipple there, that means I should have a lot of dots that are very close together on my self-portrait. So when I go to this large version, I'm going to start dotting. And again, you're starting with the darkest places first. These are the areas on your face that are pretty much black. Once you've finished doing all of the darkest areas of your face, you're going to start to look for the areas that are the next darkest. The next darkest areas would probably be something like the inside of my ear, which is dark, but it's not black dark. Those shadows are not quite as dark as the ones in my hair. The other ones that I might do that are next dark are maybe even my eyelashes, or the area around my eyes, the areas between my fingers, and maybe even some of the parts of my hair. You're going to continue doing this process until you go from darkest to next dark, to medium, to somewhat light, and then when you get to the lightest parts, those would be the parts that are in highlights, which would be this big white highlight on my hand and across my fingers. I have one on my nose, and I have a few on my forehead, and a couple in my hair. Those are the areas where you want the least amount of dots possible. So work from dark to light. Where you have light areas, don't put hardly any dots at all. And that's it. That's stippling.